wanted to stick to a lot of conventions that have been made by the thriller genre. I specifically wanted to do this with character types and sort of followed the Vladimir Prop character types theory, that there's a hero, a villain and a damsel. And I show this in my film with the opening starting with what actually looks like the protagonist, but it's actually the damsel being chased by the villain. There's a lot of conventions to do with mise-en-scene in the thriller genre. I wanted to stick to the main ones that there are. So for instance, I use a wooded area when Emily's being chased by the villain and then gets dragged into the woods. So then there's that fear of isolation because there's no one around her. Also, I looked into the darkness idea. I wanted a lot of my shots to be very dark because then obviously you can't see what's in the darkness, so it's that fear of the unknown that I'm trying to bring out for the audience. Other conventions that I've used are things like the damsel being dressed quite provocatively. Now this is because traditionally in horror films and thriller films, a woman is always chased and she's normally dressed in quite a revealing manner. This links with Laura Mulvey's male gaze theory, and I wanted to do that so that it stick to older genre conventions before the new wave of films came in where they were steering away from the Laura Mulvey idea. Obviously stalking and violence are massive conventions, and I wanted to have some elements of this because, you know, the idea of a chase is something that always keeps the audience on the edge of their seats, and that's a big convention in the thriller genre, trying to get the audience to panic for the girl and like empathise with what's happening. Obviously I say that I do want verisimilitude to play a big part in my film, but I have developed conventions in the way that the acting and the action is realistic, but the editing isn't realistic. So in the lead up to the damsel attacking the screen in a red light, there is snippets of different sorts of imagery which is symbolic of the dreamlike state, but it also kind of triggers something in the audience saying, what's happening, this wouldn't happen in real life, why is it switched from stalking to snippets of different images? And I did this because later on in the film all of those snippets are going to be explained. It's like piecing together the story of what happened to the damsel character. Finally, I challenge conventions in the way that normally thriller films, they centre around the protagonist's point of view in camera shots, but for my opener I wanted to focus on what the antagonist was seeing. So you see shots of Emily being watched with heavy breathing in the background, and you see shots of Emily being watched through a spy hole, just so you can understand that someone's watching her and you feel bad because you're sort of like the one watching her as an audience viewer. You know that something bad's going to happen to this girl, and that's what increases the tension more.